Chapter 19, Action. It was 8th period, which is the last period of the day on the Friday, after George's birthday. And when I got out of class, I was pulled over by an EMT. I was so stunned by this. At first, I didn't know what happened, but once I was told what happened, I felt like an idiot. Son, your mother fell badly. We are taking her to the Illinois Medical District, said the EMT. Oh no, I said. I was told to stay in school the rest of the day, but it was so hard to concentrate. After that, I rushed to Kimball and made phone calls when the Brown Line train began. First I called Sam. Dr. M, this isn't a good time, said Sam. Go to the Illinois Medical District after school on the Blue Line. That's the hospital where your mom is. I will meet you at the station, I ordered Sam. I then hung up. I then called George. Where is it, Dr. M? George asked. When you come home to Robbinsog on the Blue Line, get off at the Illinois Medical District. I will meet you there, I said to George, forgetting about the other details. What for? Mom fell and she is in the hospital. I then hung up. I then called my dad. On my way, said my dad, crying when he picked up the phone. Then my dad hung up. I got off the Brown Line at Clark and Lake, and then I transferred to the Blue Line and began riding it toward Forest Park to get off the Illinois Medical District. Once I arrived at the Blue Jackson station, I got a special yet sad surprise. It was my father. I haven't seen him with his hood down and his blue cloak in a while. Are you doing okay? I asked out of the goodness of my heart. No, said my dad, crying. It will be okay. No, it won't. She just fell and hit her head on the tile floor hard. That's why she's going to the hospital, and most likely she will end up having to stay here for the weekend. That I didn't know. Do not tell George that, I said. I won't. I wouldn't have even told you that if I thought you weren't going to be mature about it, my dad said. About 7 minutes later, we arrived at the Illinois Medical District station. The next Blue Line train northbound was toward O'Hare. George got off, and about 2 more southbound Blue Line train stations later was Forest Park and Sam arrived. That transfer at Clark and Lake took forever, said Sam. When George and Sam both arrived, I could tell they were shocked, but not surprised to see Dad. What hospital is she in? I asked as we were leaving the station. The general one, said my dad. It was a little walk out of the station, and then a turn, and then a 3-minute walk, and we were at the hospital door. When we then entered and went straight to the front desk. Hi, we are looking for Valerie Robbins. I am her husband, and these are her 3 children. Where is she? My dad asked at the front desk. Room 674, said the desk clerk. Thank you so much, my dad said. We then boarded the elevator, and it was 2 left turns, and we were there. When we entered the room, my mom was being examined by a quote-unquote real doctor. Valerie, are you okay? Said my dad. We needed to take some x-rays. We were going to keep her here tonight because we won't know the results until the afternoon, said the real doctor. That made George cry. How bad is it? I asked. She lost 20% of her blood with that fall. She won't be able to give blood for about another 6 months, said the real doctor. Shit, and I wanted to do that, said my mom. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon. I will list and tell the results tomorrow. Until then, have fun in here, said the real doctor. Can people lie in bed and snuggle with her? My dad asked. Yes, but don't touch the wounded areas, said the real doctor. Then the real doctor left the room. It wasn't 2 seconds before my dad was cuddling was lying in bed hugging and cuddling her in his work clothes. How much work are you missing? How much work are you missing? Or Mom asked, to her dad. 3 hours, but I used half a day of vacation time. I have plenty of that, said my dad with a shattered voice. Now it was my turn to ask the question. Why are you letting us stay here this time? I asked Mom. Because this time is not past your bedtime, answered our Mom. Also last time was our anniversary and my birthday. That's something we wanted to spend alone, Dad answered along. I think that reason is bullshit, but okay, I said. You're leaving when your Aunts Heather and Catherine come in. You do know that, said my Mom. Just you, said my Dad. Have you called them? Sam asked. Yes, we will come after work, said my Mom. There was a pause that was interrupted by George. So, what are you exactly in here for? George asked, crying. I fell because of my mobility issues, said my Mom firmly. My mom then realized what she said and covered her mouth. Aha! You do have mobility issues, I jumped up and said. There was a pause and everyone was staring at me. I think you should leave now. By that I mean early, said my Dad. Because of how bad I feel about last time, I am going to. However, I would like to talk to Sam and George for a little bit before I do, I said to Mom and Dad. Then do it in the hall, said my Mom. All three of us went into the hall. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? George asked, crying. I think we need to totally put our trust into the return, I proposed. Why? Sam asked. Because maybe once we solve those riddles, we will be able to solve what is wrong with Mom, I said. The question, though, is, what do we do when we solve them? George asked. I don't know, but if the return is the key to saving Mom's life, then it is someone who knows Mom, I said. Question? Wouldn't you think it would, if the whole point of the return was to save Mom's life, that would be too odd for anyone to do? Because if there was a cure for Mom's mobility issues, that she would have taken it by now, Sam asked. That's right, I said, realizing more and more what the returns girl is. Then I realized who it may be. I think I know who. I'm not sure about this, but I have an idea on who may be the return. I said to George and Sam. Who? George asked. Grandma, I answered. Sam and George then looked at me like I was nuts for a few seconds, and then they broke out laughing. Grandma? Sam asked. She just left after Grandpa died, I said. She has had nothing to do with Mom and the sisters since she left you before you were even born, said Sam. What makes you think it is her, said George. If it is her, she is returning, I answered. Well, he is right, said Sam. Also, she just left. It was never said she was dead, I said to Sam and George. That's true, too. Maybe you did figure it out, said Sam. I'm not going to ask Mom or Dad until she is out of here. Then we must and will take action on it, I said. Then neither will we, said Sam. That was when my aunts walked in. Well, it looks like my time here is done, I said when my aunts got there. I then walked over to the elevator bank. Goodbye, everyone! Live good lives, I said. I then boarded the elevator and rode it down and walked out of the hospital and over to the Illinois Medical District station and boarded the next Blue Line train to O'Hare and got off at Blue Jacks and walked over to Robbinsog. Mom came home the next night, which was sooner than what my dad said on the ride over. I didn't want to ask Mom, so I asked her the next day in front of my dad. Hey, Mom, can I ask you a question? As long as it isn't rude, she asked. It isn't rude, but it may be a little hard to answer, I said. Oh, is it being hard to answer is fine. What is it, my mom asked. What happened to your mother, I asked. It took me longer to register what happened next, because I was so shocked to hear about how she reacted. Go to your fucking room! My mom screamed. Yeah, we have told you that you don't bring her up, in front of your mother or your aunts, said my dad, raising his voice. I then obeyed my parents and I went to my room.